Former U.S. President Donald Trump has always been a lightning rod for controversy, but his latest remarks have once again jolted the political landscape. In a fiery address, Trump declared that Democrat-run cities should serve as training grounds for the U.S. military. He described these urban centers as out of control and no different from battle zones overseas, pointing to rising crime, homelessness, drug addiction, and infrastructure collapse as proof. According to Trump, instead of sending soldiers abroad to prepare for conflict, they could be trained in America's own cities, gaining first-hand experience in environments he claims are already broken down beyond repair. The suggestion ignited immediate uproar. Critics denounced it as one of the most dangerous ideas yet from the former president. Legal scholars were quick to raise alarms, citing the Posse Comitatus Act, which prohibits the use of federal troops for domestic law enforcement without specific congressional approval. Civil rights organizations warned that normalizing the military in civilian spaces would cross a red line in American democracy, eroding trust between citizens and government. For millions living in these cities, Trump's framing was seen as an insult, portraying them not as communities to be supported but as failed states to be conquered. Democratic leaders, especially mayors of large cities, wasted no time in firing back. New York's mayor described Trump's comments as a slap in the face to working families, while Chicago officials accused him of exploiting tragedy for political gain. City leaders stressed that urban problems require solutions grounded in housing reform, education, mental health care, and targeted policing, not military drills. As one mayor put it, "We need policies, not paratroopers." Social media amplified these reactions, with hashtags like #cities are not war zones trending within hours. Still, for Trump's supporters, the message struck a familiar and powerful chord. To them, the former president was once again saying the quiet part out loud, pointing out what others ignore. In conservative circles, Democrat-led cities have long been symbols of dysfunction and crime. Trump's suggestion may not be taken literally by his base, but symbolically it resonates. It paints a picture of America in decline under Democratic leadership and underscores his narrative that only he is willing to confront uncomfortable truths. His allies argue that his comments highlight urgent problems: a failing public safety, rising costs of living, and collapsing public order that Democrats continue to downplay. Political analysts see the controversy as another example of Trump's unique ability to dominate the news cycle. By making a statement so provocative, he forces opponents to respond, ensuring that he and his framing of the debate remain at the center of political discourse. This strategy, often described as shock politics, has been a hallmark of Trump's career. Whether his proposals are practical or not, the sheer audacity guarantees attention, energizes supporters, and keeps his rivals on the defensive. Historically, Trump's remarks echo some of America's most contentious debates. In the 1960s, the federal government deployed troops to major cities to quell unrest, fueling accusations of government overreach. In 1992, the Rodney King riots in Los Angeles prompted National Guard intervention, sparking fierce debate about militarization. And in 2020, amid protests following George Floyd's murder, Trump himself threatened to invoke the Insurrection Act, a move many saw as dangerously authoritarian. His new proposal brings these tensions back into the spotlight, raising the same haunting questions: when does public safety justify military presence, and when does it become an assault on democracy itself? On the global stage, Trump's comments have been met with a mix of disbelief and criticism. European outlets highlighted the irony of a former U.S. president portraying America's own cities as training grounds for war. Russian and Chinese state media seized on the remarks, using them to argue that the United States is in decline and no longer able to govern its own people effectively. Allies in NATO expressed quiet concern that such rhetoric damages America's image as a global leader and weakens its moral authority. For many abroad, Trump's words confirmed what they already suspect, that America is fighting as much with itself as it is with outside adversaries. Meanwhile, public reaction within the United States has been deeply polarized. Residents of cities like Philadelphia and San Francisco expressed anger and fear at being cast as targets. Some said the remarks could embolden extremist groups or fuel hostility toward urban communities. On the other hand, rural and suburban voters sympathetic to Trump saw the proposal as a metaphorical truth, pointing to statistics showing rising violent crime and drug overdoses in major metropolitan areas. This sharp divide reflects a broader national fracture, a cultural and political split between urban America and the rest of the country. Looking ahead, experts suggest Trump's comments may influence future policy debates. Republicans may not formally endorse militarizing cities, but they could use similar rhetoric to justify tougher crime bills, federal crackdowns, or increased surveillance. Democrats, in turn, are likely to double down on portraying Trump as authoritarian, warning voters that his vision of America blurs the line between democracy and